Talk about momentum because this is so freaking important. Okay, I'm going to show you just these recent examples, prices in real time right here. This is a trade from one of the key areas this morning that we mapped out during the key area arena. But look at this, man. This is what I want to make clear. Okay, this is what we're after. So let's take our line right there. And this is what we're after, okay? Let's say that we're looking for a potential long opportunity. Price comes down and has a bearish rundown into our key area, okay? It gives us a price pattern right here, gives us a candlestick pattern right here. That's kind of cool. I don't think I've ever done this before. And then what happens is we can take this trade if it gives us that pattern, right? If it gives us the pattern, comes to the key area, we're in the trade, okay? We just have to, depending on your risk appetite, you'll go, yeah, I'm looking for, like, let's say it's a momentum reversal. Yeah, I'm cool with a dirty momentum reversal. Or if you're not, you want to be more conservative, excuse me, then you'll go, okay, you know what? I'm going to wait for a picture perfect momentum reversal. But sometimes what will happen is price will come down and then it will not give a pattern. Or if you want to wait because you think it's going to push deeper into the key area and you would rather, instead of, hey, listen, I want to be in this trade and make sure I'm in it if it goes up. No, I'm cool. I want to wait. I'd rather get a little bit better RR, a little bit tighter stop loss, and then wait and see if it pushes deeper, gives me an entry pattern back here, and then goes, okay? So let's say you do that. Let's say that it pulls one of these and then it gives you your entry pattern and then it goes, right? Okay, that's completely fine. We're going to go over all the scenarios, Broseph. Okay, so let's say that it does this. Let's say that that's touching, okay? We'll just pretend that that's touching the key area. That's potential right there, opportunity. Now it pushes deeper into the key area. This is a potential opportunity right here. And then let's say that it doesn't, let's say that maybe it kind of works out, okay? Maybe you take partials, maybe you go to break even, maybe it's a loss. And price just starts kind of going like this, okay? It just starts kind of consolidating around the line. What do we do? What do we do when this fucking thing happens, okay? Let's make it a little bit bigger. Because right here, let's say that, you know, it gives you an entry pattern here, and then it gives you another entry pattern here, and then it's going to give you one here. What the fuck? Dude, we can't be taking like 5 trades. That's ridiculous. We're not going to do that. So we have 3 trade opportunities is what I want to point out here, okay? And you need to kind of choose the one that you're comfortable with, okay? Or keep your eye out for these 3. So the first one that we have is, we'll pull it down so it actually goes into the key area. But the first one is that price gives you an entry pattern, a valid entry pattern right there when it touches the key area, okay? Now, as I've said before, if you get in, then the best thing to do for not getting a stop out is putting your stop loss, in this case, below resistance or above support, because that's going to be a nice conservative spot for your stop loss. Now, you can tighten it up. I tighten them up, you know, here and there, actually pretty often. It's something that I have to work on, is widening my stop losses. And sometimes it'll just go and it'll increase the RR, and that's great. But the times when it doesn't, then, you know, the stop outs are going to happen more frequently if you don't give yourself a nice stop loss. The second is when price pushes deeper into the key area and then gives you a valid entry point, okay? So let's say that you get in here. Let's say that you're like this, okay? You're like, hell yeah, man, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to have a tight stop loss. And then this happens, okay? So let's say that this happens right here, okay? So you're still in the trade. You're good. You're good. You've still got a chance and an opportunity for this to go ahead and get into profit, okay? But let's say that you didn't take either one of those trades right there, okay? Let's say that you showed up to the charts maybe a little bit late or whatever. You just weren't here. You saw these 2 opportunities, and then you saw price just consolidating around the key area. Here's what you would look for. Here's what you would look for, man. Momentum, okay? Look for price to pull away from the key area and create some form of space before coming back. And it also it needs to show you that it is going in the direction that you're going to take the trade. Okay, so if we're going long, it needs to, and oftentimes it'll look like this. And it'll just be like this. It's just kind of getting like lower and lower and like not really doing anything. And then if you take a trade right here, it's like, okay, well, it might work out. I mean, we can just bank on the fact that it might work out, but it's much, much wiser to, instead of just kind of hope that it goes up or some weird shit like that, because we're not going to hope, man. We're not hoping. We are literally taking the facts that we have and making logical decisions based on those facts. So when price comes here, if it shows, I also call this a sign of life, okay? Maybe I should throw this in here. So a sign of life, momentum, well, yeah, creates space, pulls away, any of this, that shit can work, okay? The point and the whole, everything behind this, the whole purpose, what the whole kind of science behind this, so that you can just understand the actual, like, what's important about it, is that it's showing us it wants to go up. Okay, that's all it is. That's all we're after, is that. So if it comes here, okay, it comes back to the key area and then it pulls away, fantastic. If it creates space so that it actually pulls away and then it has to travel back to the key area, fantastic. If it shows us momentum right here, it's all the same thing. Momentum is going in this area before it comes back, fantastic. If there's a sign of life, you know, nothing's really happening. Yeah, no, not really. Just kind of trailing on, just kind of hanging out. Bump on a log here, and then boom. Okay, something happens. That's what we're looking for. Then we can say, hey, listen, I'm good to look for a potential trading opportunity right here, okay? But we're not going to hang out here and do this whole muddle type shit that's going on here. So these would be the 3 potential trading opportunities that you would have. So, you know, if you're going aggressive, it would look like that. If you're conservative, it would look like that. And oftentimes what will happen is, if you have a wide enough stop loss on this first entry, you'll just stay in the trade through this shit, and then it'll, if it's going to go, then it'll eventually go. Then it could be this one right here, okay? And oftentimes, again, if you get into this and you have a nice stop loss, you're just going to sit through this shit, and then if it's going to go, it'll go. And then this one right here is sometimes, I'll say sometimes, it's the best entry. Because when it has this break and this shift in momentum, then when it comes back, it's basically just coming back to pick up more momentum and go. It's not like gonna dilly-dally around. It's not like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do still. No, like when this happens, it's either made up its mind and it's going, or it's just gonna stop out. So it's one way or the other. So sign of life, momentum shift, you know, see the momentum, create space between, you know, the price and the key area, and then pulls away. Okay, these are all just the same freaking thing. So let's go ahead and look at what I want to tell you. Okay, I'm gonna make an effort here to keep my charts clean. By the way, I like this blue color. Okay, so right here, so this is our key area right here. And then what happens is, doesn't quite make it to the key area there, but it does here. So there's no valid entry here, right? There's nothing for us to do. It's just kind of like, hey, nothing to look at, people. Move along, close up shop. And I just stuck this, you know, you can call it a trend line if you want to. It's not really a trend line. It's just a reference point. It's just saying, hey, price is consistently making lower price points and not really showing signs of life. Well, I'm sure you can see it. Look what happens here. It shows a sign of life. It pulls away. The momentum has shown itself. It creates space between, look, when price is way up here, there's more space between the key area, right? And so now we have a potential trading opportunity, okay? Not this like, we don't want to see more of this consolidating type shit. Now, since this was the first time that price had come into the key area, this is fine. If there was a a valid price point right here, if there was a valid entry, then that would have been perfect to take. Okay, you could just take that. But because it's already hit price, we don't want to see all this consolidation stuff. The only thing that we would be looking for now that it hit price is for it to push down a little bit deeper and then give us an entry point right there, okay? But instead what it did is just push up. Hey, show us signs of life right now. Sweet. Well, I'm looking for a trading opportunity. There was no valid. I just want to go through this so that you really, really understand this. It's not confusing. It's not complicated. It may sound like a lot to you right now. You can go back and review this video because it's just, you will see the same things happen over and over and over again. Okay, so first trading opportunity, not there. Price did not push lower into the key area. Instead, it has shown us a great sign of life right here. Okay, broke this, broke this, broke this. Great sign of life. And you can see how that looks different, right? It's like ding, 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 boop. And then comes back into the key area, gives us a price point. Great, we're good to go. Okay, let's go ahead and look at these. Let's go ahead and look at these opportunities right here. Okay, because this is exactly what we have just talked about. This is great. Okay, so our first entry is right here, right? That is the first time that price breaks this, okay? Comes back to the key area, breaks the key area, comes back to it, gives us a valid entry point, and we can go ahead and we can enter the trade. Next, what are we waiting for? Okay, let's say that we didn't even do that. Let's say we didn't even get in. Now we're just like waiting and shit. So now price pushes down and we're waiting for it to come deeper into the key area, right? Okay, now if it wants to, just like it did before, it can literally just like show an awesome sign of life and, you know, just like on the last example. But let's go through this because this is actually the exact example that we've been talking about with the little drawings and stuff. So first point of entry, pushes deeper into the key area, and then guess what? It gives us this valid entry pattern. Boom, right there. Okay, let's see. Momentum reversal. Okay, right there. Cool. So now let's say that, hey, maybe we didn't get in on either one of those or whatnot, okay? Let's say we just showed up to the charts. We're like, oh, I could have gotten in there. Oh, I could have gotten in there. You know, I could have made, you know, a 1-to-1. Could have made a 1-to-1.5. Of course, we're not being like that, man. We're not all depressed or emotional or anything like that because we know these opportunities happen every single freaking day. And that's why we don't need to trade every day. So let's say that this will follow this, okay? So it pushes back, does its thing, comes down here, okay? It's not really showing us a lot that's going on here, okay? It's not really showing us signs of life and things like that. See how it's at a very similar price point. It hasn't pushed back into the key area and then gone down and then shown us like, wow, you know, okay, there's some momentum there. Like it, see how it went right here and it pushed down, then it pushed deeper into the key area and it didn't go down. It just kind of stayed there. Okay, so now this is just kind of this consolidation crap that's happening until we see a sign of life. So the sign of life would be price coming back into the key area, like, oh, I'm done with this tool for now. We'll just follow the mouse for a minute. Okay, coming back into the key area and then really showing a sign of life, breaking some freaking structure, showing some power, creating some space, and it doesn't. It just kind of dilly-dallies around like this, and then it just starts walking up, 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 up. And look at this. There's no reason why we would ever take this, let's see, this one right here, this engulfing candlestick entry pattern, okay? Because it's shown us nothing, literally pushed into the key area, couldn't even go any further, came back into the key area, created this sort of double top right here, pushed down, didn't get any freaking farther, and then just trickled up in its little consolidating fashion. And for all those people who don't know this, they're thinking, oh, look at this. It's an engulfing candlestick pattern, and it's touching the key area. I'm good to go. But what has momentum shown us? It's shown us there's nothing there. Price could give us whatever it wants here. It could give us the most beautiful, picture perfect freaking double top with a beautiful momentum reversal. Like we're taking pictures of it, putting it in picture frames, hanging it on the wall. Dude, it just doesn't even matter. Price could literally do whatever it wants. It could give us 5 wick rejection. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, these massive wick rejections, and then just pop down here and just find its momentum and go off towards the upside because there's no momentum to the downside anymore, okay? Let's go to another one. Let's go to a freaking another one because once you understand this, holy shit, dude, you are going to be, it's like becoming a ninja, bro. Like you're going to be so freaking empowered. Okay. Let us see here. Let's see. Okay. Let's just follow this whole thing really quickly. So price comes into the key area, doesn't give an entry. The wick's too long on the doji. There's just too much wick on the bearish engulfing candle for me to take that trade. Excuse me. But then what happens is it gives us another entry right here, okay? And I was taking this as a sign of life. Okay? It broke structure. It came down. I was taking this as a sign of life right here. Beautiful momentum reversal. Got in. My stop was a little bit tight. I probably needed about another pip and a half or 2 pips on this trade in order for it to not get stopped out there. But then it pushes up a little bit. No valid entry right here. Okay, so push deeper into the key area. Again, just as I've been telling you, the safest place to do it is give some freaking room to the trade if you're going to get in on the first touch, just because, I mean, sometimes it doesn't happen and it goes. Other times it will push up just like this. Doesn't give an entry. Remember, we're just following the exact same pattern that we've been looking at this whole time. So we've got our first point of entry right there. Pushes a little bit deeper into the key area right here. I see signs of life with this move out. Then it pushes deeper, stops me out. Then it goes, shows massive signs of life right here. I just kind of like saying signs of life. It's just an easy one to remember. Like, oh yeah, you know, something's happening. Okay, then it comes back to the key area, taps. No valid entry here. Let's keep our boxes on there, okay? Then what it does is we're waiting for the potential for it to push deeper into the key area, right? But we need to see some life signs right here, okay? So we do see some life right there. Pulls back, continues to pull back, taps the key area right here. But here's the thing with this one, it was just making the same price point right here as the other one. I'm not saying that you couldn't have taken this trade. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to teach you about momentum, and when you get good at seeing momentum, then it will highly benefit your trading, okay? And it's something that's going to take a little time for your eye to adjust and learn. But so we tap into the key area right here. We have this push down. Price comes back around the same price point, dilly-dallies around. Then, you know what? It doesn't go any lower, comes back. This time it's making higher price points right here. Pushes deeper into the key area, kind of dilly-dallying around. There's no freaking valid entry. Actually, there is a valid entry, excuse me, right here. We have the bullish run-up and then the bearish engulfing. We have a nice pull-down, bullish run-up, bearish engulfing candle. Not picture perfect. It's dirty. But you could have taken that trade. But then check this shit out, okay? It breaks. It shows momentum, okay? Look at this. Price is stepping up and then it shows momentum. If you would have waited for this to happen, if you would have said, you know what? Price pushed up right here. There was no entry. It showed a little bit of life here. It pushed deeper into the key area. I got in, you know, maybe you were stopped out. Maybe you had a bigger stop loss, so you were really in the trade. Now price pulls away and starts this whole thing again, right? Comes up, taps the key area, okay? Shows a little bit of sign of life here, just like here. and then it doesn't quite come back, and then when it does come back to this price point, it doesn't come back to the key area, so there's no potential, no valid trading opportunities here. But look, it doesn't go any lower or anything like that, and all it does is start to trickle up, okay? That's all it does, is start to trickle up, and just man, I really hope that you're getting this. What's the best tool to use here? Probably this. Probably, you know, maybe we could just do like a parallel channel type thing. See how it's just continuing to trickle up and consolidate upward? That's not showing us signs of life. That's not giving me confidence as a trader. Hey, I'm cool to take a short position. Things are looking great. Price is telling me we're going to go down. That's not what I'm getting from this. What I'm getting is, well, when it had this first touch here and this sign of life, okay, I'm okay with that, and I would have potentially taken an entry had price come back up here and given me a valid entry. It didn't, though, and instead it only pulled down to here, okay, and then it went up again, only pulled down to here. So first of all, this wouldn't have been the best trading opportunity because price hasn't shown you that it's breaking structure, it wants to go to the low side or anything like that. I'm not saying you couldn't take it. Again, you can take it, but I'm showing you how to get higher probability here. Then when price pushed in here, boom, this is our first real break, our first sign of life, our first creation of real freaking space, okay? Space. And then this up here yielded a trading opportunity in the form of a double top, with the second point being a valid engulfing candlestick entry pattern right there. And look, well, the trade's already on there. Look at how beautiful this looks, okay? There's almost no dilly-dally around. Price comes back up here just like this, but it does it relatively quickly and then just drops because it's already shown us the sign of life. It's not going to go up here and consolidate for freaking ages like this. It's basically like, hey, listen, I'm coming to tap and then I'm going, okay? And that's pretty much what happened. I mean, what is that? Like, let's see here, 22 minutes, okay? Versus, not that this is really that important, but just to give you an idea of the consolidation, not really doing anything, dilly-dallying, an hour and 53 minutes. Okay. So this is some cool stuff right here. I really, really hope that you're starting to internalize this, and like, you will see it. You'll get a practiced eye for this, but this is something that's going to take time. Okay. Literally all I'm looking for, let me see if I can break it down a little bit more simply. It's important that we go over the inner workings of it and the details so that you know what's going on. You know the reasoning behind what you're looking at. But let's also just do it like this, okay? Price comes down into the key area, it taps. I want to see a sign of life if I didn't get in this trade, if there wasn't a valid entry, if I wasn't at the chart, and now I'm looking for a possible entry. I just want to see a sign of life before I get in. I just want momentum to say, hey, go into the upside. That's all I'm looking for, okay? So, for this, like, we have the tap, great. If there was a valid entry, awesome. But if there wasn't, if I didn't see it, if I didn't take the trade, if I wasn't comfortable with the trade, if I thought that I was going to wait, hey, I want to wait until it pushes deeper into the key area. And look at this. I'm not feeling a lot of confidence because it's just consolidation trickle up right now, okay? But then once I see this sign of life, I'm like, oh shit. Well, hey, now we've got space. Price has shown me the momentum to the downside. Sure, it could still come stop me out, but Price has just told me, hey, buddy, hey, we're going to go to the downside, so get ready. And then it comes back, and then it gives me the valid entry. Yeah, dude, I want to take that trade. For sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, trying to see if maybe I got one more example up the old sleeve here. Let's check this out. Let's check it out. Okay. So we've got price that's pulled away from the key area. Okay, so now what we're looking for is our first tap into the key area, which there was this tap right here. So I wouldn't have even taken this trade. Plus, I like to wait for 2 bullish candles before the actual engulfing candle. but then it pulled up here. Nope, no entry right there. Okay, so this would have, so it taps, okay? This whole little thing right here is the first tap into the key area. Then pulls back. Actually, we can, I'm just going to kind of, it kind of makes like a funky ass double top sort of a thing. Not real clean here. I'm just going to call that like one tap. Then, okay, it shows us some sign of life, right? Shows us a little bit of sign of life, breaks a little bit of structure, comes back up, not a valid entry, shows us a little bit of a sign of life right here, okay? And then pushes deeper into the key area, okay? So this would have been potential entry area right here, which it was, which I believe I actually took this trade, and then stopped out, okay? And it'll do this. Sometimes it'll just move up a little bit higher, do kind of a little stop hunt thing, and then it will go. So let's see. This example wasn't great for showing another example, but at least you're kind of getting the feel for it, man. At least you're kind of, you're kind of understanding what's going on here. Okay, so let's see. So pulls away, taps the key area, does not give a valid entry. Actually, let's look a little bit closer. Yeah, this is just, it's just not a clean enough double top. I know I see the first point here, the pull down, then the second point, the engulfing. To me, this just looks really consolidating. I want to see something that's a little bit, a little bit more clean like that. And this one's just a little bit too jumbled, like mashed together and stuff. This one is better. Because have the first point, the pull down, then I can see the walk up in the second point, and then that one right there. So this shows us signs of life, right? Then we're waiting for a deeper push back into the key area, and then we could probably take this as a double top right here, and that is that's a big ass candle for relative to all the other candles that we're trading. So this would have been a really big stop loss. Again, you don't have to take this trade, okay? You can be picky and choosy about your trades. Oftentimes, if this candle's that big, I'll just be like, screw it. I'm not even going to get in. It's just, that is a huge ass candle. It doesn't give me a good stop. Now, if all the candles were relative in size, if all the candles were somewhere between, 6 and 10 pips or something, well, sure, then I just get in. But that's not the case. This candle's like, 3 to 5 times the size of many of the candles that we're working with right here. Maybe 2 to 4 times the size. So here is an example of, the tap. We saw the sign of life, push deeper. We did everything right, and it didn't work out. And you know why that is? Because it doesn't always work out. Nothing always works out. But it gives you a higher probability of that trade working out. That's all we're after, man. We're just after an edge. We're not after a whole this has to work every time, all this stuff. And this is why trade review is so freaking important, because when you understand, when you review enough of your trades and you can see the patterns, then you will become experienced in saying, oh yeah, no, nothing wrong happened here. This was simply just a loss and price went the other way. And other times you could go, oh yeah, no, I definitely missed this because I wasn't looking at the sign of life and price was really consolidating, walking back up to the key area. Yeah, I totally missed that. And so you will get better and better and better at that as it goes on. So this is momentum. Go ahead and take this, and when price approaches your key areas, okay, let's just see if we can find a freaking a key area. This that's not gonna work because that mean that one just like went. Let's see. Really, though, we're looking for this kind of stuff along a key area, and it just kind of keeps consolidating along it, and I'm just not seeing that right now. Yeah, hold on a second. We could look at this one. This is a unique example because I don't take trades, even though this is a bullish engulfing candle. It is a bullish engulfing candle, right? We have the bearish rundown. We got our key area. We've got the bullish candle engulfing the previous bearish candle. but look at the amount of wick on the candle. Oh, whoops. There's just so much receding wick on the candle, right? It's like down, it's like, 60% of the candle is receded wick. And so I tend to not take these trades. Have I ever taken the trades? Yeah, if I'm feeling really aggressive or it fits my risk appetite, but I will usually stay away from these trades. But anyway, so here we're looking for a break, right? This is not quite the break that I would be hoping for. I'm very careful about using the word hope. I don't know if hope is the right. It's not quite the break that I want to see. Let's see, where are we? Where are we here? Here we are. Okay. Okay, so I'd like to see a bit more of a break happen than that, but let's just roll with this, okay? So right here, there's no valid entry, right? Okay. Well, let's do the thing. If I'm a visual learner in large part. So then we see this happen. This comes back here. We're looking for a deeper push into the key area. Does it push deeper into the key area? I don't think so. I think it pushes about the same. It's about the same. And of course, I wouldn't take this trade because of what I explained. But it worked out. But here's the thing. It didn't show us signs of life necessarily in this example because it didn't really go anywhere past this point. Okay. But it didn't really need to if it's just pushing a little bit deeper into the key area right after this happens. But usually what I'll wait for is this. Okay. It touches, kind of comes up like this, and then it kind of almost immediately, not immediately, it'll be, it could be like 5, 10, 15 minutes, but then it pushes deeper into the key area and then it goes. Okay, with this one, because it spent so much time out here, kind of in its just little consolidating crawl, what I would have preferred to see is something like this, and then take the trade. Okay, so I'm just kind of giving you examples, man. I don't want to poison your thoughts or anything like that with all this oh, it's getting too confusing. Really, it's just it's super duper simple, man. It's basically just hey, price tap the key area. Okay, come back and tap the key area lower so I can get in. Oh, you're not doing that? You're kind of consolidating, walking up? Well, at least break the fucking previous price point so you can show me that we're going to go up. Oh, you didn't do that? Maybe I'll pass on this trade. Okay, I take trades. I do take trades that don't break the price point sometimes and don't, that look like this, basically, as long as this candle didn't have that much wick. If it didn't have the wick on it, I would have probably just taken this trade. But I'm telling you, to increase your probability, to increase your odds, to increase not having to sit through a bunch of shit and consolidation, then you wait for price to give you that sign of life before you take the trade.